Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast with myself, Sam Hill, and as always, I'm joined by
Harry Tovey
and
Ben Thomas.
And in this week's episode, we're going to be having a look back at the Wardley Clarke card, having a look at Tim Zhu versus Fundora and Romero versus Cruz, having a look at some audio clips from the world of boxing, talking about some call-outs recently, and to finish it off, previewing next weekend's fights. This weekend, I mean, excuse the pun, it was a bloody good weekend of boxing.
I was literally going to say that.
It was unbelievable.
What a weekend.
The football, obviously, Easter weekend's always great, but you don't always get boxing Easter weekend, but I think it topped it all off. It was brilliant,
Christ
I thought.
would have wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true though, ain't it? What a weekend.
It's got to be one of the best weekends we've had in a while, innit?
I sent you
just
the
for
video.
sport in general, but
Yeah, for sure. And I think a big part of that is obviously that Wardley Clarke card. And we said it last time with Boxer, with their last event, where it was like, this is good, but we want some sort of 50-50 fights, some closer fights. And we got that. I mean, we got a number of really close fights. Some of the fighters we'd previously seen had a bit more of a challenge as well. And it just made a brilliant night of boxing, I thought.
The last fight night I think Boxer did, it wasn't very 50-50, but throughout the card from the bottom, Alan Babic, Steve Robinson, out for me it was a 50-50. Neither man can box, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They're just fighters, aren't
dead.
He got destroyed, yeah. And then you move up the card, Vidal Riley as well. Yeah, probably the worst fight on the card, but it's a fight that you say...
I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah, but it's a fight you say he's got the job done. Move on now.
Yeah. It was...
Obviously, what happened after it was quite good.
Yeah,
Oh, they cut away the... Like, it is annoying.
They're not going to show an... Well, Isaac Chamberlain's a boxer fighter, ain't he? They're not going to show a matchroom fighter on Sky, are they?
No, and
everyone's running from Chev Clarke.
Yeah, proper. We've got one of our audio clips later is actually that little back and forth between Chamberlain and Riley, because like you say, it was probably the highlight of that fight. But yeah, so Babic Robinson was the first fight.
Are we starting there?
Slightly disappointing, I think, that it was it was on the thing, and there was quite a big gap between that and which one was the next fight? Callum Simpson. It was quite a big jump between those two in terms of time.
That should have been on the main card.
Yeah, I think. I mean, yeah, there was no need to do an undercard for one fight, I don't think. But yeah, Babic got the job done, I think, like we expected him to do. Robinson called it pretty well, that neither of them are that great at boxing. They'll meet in the middle and have a scrap, and they pretty much did.
They should have pulled him out earlier, though, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
He was taking a hide in it.
His corner was telling him that I'm going to give you one more round, and then
bro,
2 rounds later, he's still in there.
They said after like 3 or 4 rounds, they were like, right, one more, don't get it with any shot, so we're pulling you out, and then just kept sending him in there to get battered round by round.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't look hugely hurt. Like, he was getting whacked, but at least he didn't look... He wasn't wobbling or out. He was just knackered and a little bit...
he was never going to win it, though, was he?
No, absolutely not. No, he didn't have the minerals.
Well, apparently I said he was going to win it, but,
I still reckon he did.
This is Prediction Gate. We when we done our predictions last week, we never truly heard Harry say...
I said I agreed. And I agreed with Sam's thing, because Ben went, oh, look at Harry copying. So we'll just leave it there. But the winner of this... Well, Alan Babic now needs the winner of Lawrence Okole's Bridgerweight title fight coming in May. Busy month for May.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't need any more good boxing in May, but if they're going to offer us it, then, we'll take it. We'll take it. Callum Simpson was the next one up against Dillian Whyte, who I think I text you boys saying was the weirdest style fighter I think I've ever seen.
I reckon you would have given a better fight, Sam.
It was like his front foot was flat, so it was planted, but then his back foot was on its toes. It was like backwards. Like if
you're not going to have no balance.
Nah, he looked bizarre. But Callum Simpson got the job done, put him out of there. And I think Zach Chelley was there on the night. That looks
they
like
had a bit of a back and forth now.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be the next fight, which I think will be a good fight.
It's quite respectable though.
That's British title as well, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully another.
Was it? I thought Zach Chelley lost the British title, but I might.
No, he won. He won it, didn't he, in his last fight?
But looking at his Callum Simpson's opponent, man, he's his last couple of fights have all been in. What was it? Is it Tanzania? Tanzania, yeah.
Yeah, he's had a little while away from the sort of big shows, but he looked like it was a good. I mean, it was a bloody good finish. That right hand and the left hook to put him away was solid.
Best finish of the night, to be honest.
Yeah, probably. Was it the only finish of the night? Near enough. There wasn't many.
The first
more.
2 fights were the only finishes. 'Cause it's 46 rounds, and just saying,
Oh, here
I
we go.
predicted the exact rounds as well.
Yeah, no, fair enough to you. Fair enough
Thank
to you.
you.
I think the one that stitched me up was
You still
Ben
finished second,
Whittaker. I presumed, I mean, everyone presumed Ben Whittaker was going to get him out of there, and
I know.
and
That's the one that done us all over. Especially you, me and you would have drawn if Ben Whittaker got him out there.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Oh, Leon Willens. My lord.
As
He came
stupid
to
as
that
it
fight.
sounds, it's probably a better result for Willens than it is Whittaker.
He can move on to so many things.
almost, yeah. I think he was really impressive, Willings, and he's got the central area, I think it was, belt, and it shows that that's a high level. Like don't get me wrong, Ben Whittaker beat him
He caught him with some shots
pretty comfortably, but yeah, Ben Whittaker got caught for pretty much the first time we've seen in his pro career. Other than that, he just makes people miss. And
Do you think it's a thing of him probably not being as switched on as he maybe should have been, or
I think
as it showed gaps in his...
I think it's a little bit of he wasn't switched on, and I think it was also a little bit of Willings is just a tidy fighter, and I think you could tell he pretty much prepared for Ben Whittaker rather than preparing for a boxing fight, whereas I think a lot of the guys that fight Ben previously
They had
have just
quite short notice as well.
they've just prepared for a fight, whereas I think he looked like he had the reading of what Ben Whittaker was doing, and when Ben was trying to make him miss, he just wasn't throwing, basically. If Whittaker's going to move around erratically and, dance around and all of this stuff, the idea is to make you miss and to rile you up so you try and hit him, and then he can catch you on the counter. But if you just don't hit him, he just looks, he's just there moving his head to nothing, and no one. But yeah, it was impressive from Willings in a way that I think a lot of people didn't expect it to be.
And he's got to have an English title fight now,
yeah.
After that.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, but
It doesn't push him back in his career, does it? Let's be honest.
No,
He's still got that
definitely not.
central area title, and it was a hell of a fight.
Like no one. Let's be fair. Everyone was expecting him to go in there and get stopped, and for him to take him the full distance. And he was never going to win the fight, but he gave it a good go. Caught him with some very good shots. Showed his skill level.
yeah, absolutely.
He'll definitely.
There wasn't a lot of
Get called
showboating
back.
as well.
Not as much, no, not as much. And I think it was
more to his corner.
yeah,
wasn't
it was a bit of an off night, I think, from Whittaker. I think it was a bit of both. I'm not worried about he struggled against.
He's out the door now, though, ain't he, with Boxer?
Yeah, it looks like it. Looks he's jumping over to Matchroom.
5v5.
Could be a good one to have on a 5v5.
Light heavyweight for 5v5.
So
I can't remember who that would be up
Anthony Yard
against.
or Willie Hutchinson?
It looks like Anthony Yard is going to be fighting Boazzi next in Britain. So I would presume.
I don't think they'll put him on the 5v5, but it'll just be funny if he rocks up.
I wouldn't be surprised though. Like I think he's that kind of fighter.
He'll take the fight. He's like the fight on Saturday night, July you fight. He'll fight anyone.
Yeah,
Olympic experience. We saw that in the main event.
yeah, absolutely. And then moving on up from Whittaker to Marku versus Congo, which obviously Ben you said was the one that undid you. And to be fair to Congo, he was impressive. I thought he was really, really good.
Best he's boxed in.
That is the best
in a
performance
while.
he's given.
It was exactly what it needed to be in terms of style, in terms of the way he fought. Was exactly what you needed to be in order to beat Marku. He kept the distance well, he moved well, and just kind of used his jab. It was clever. It wasn't particularly, flashy, but it done the job. And you need to do any more than the job. Just beat him.
It's a good response as well after losing to Eko Essuman, because they kept on talking in commentary that in that Eko Essuman fight he was up come 6 rounds and then he let it go to plot because he tired, but there was nothing. I didn't think he fatigued at all in that fight, and yeah, hopefully he can maybe get the rematch now with Eku, or
that's probably the one to make, innit? I don't know where else to go with him.
No, it's hard. It's difficult to sort of pitch him at what level he's at.
He could fight Harry Scarf,
Yeah, There's
That'd be British again. And
that's a hell of a British fight if that can be made.
yeah, it would be a good one.
we just need to keep making British fights. I think they're
always so much better.
We need to make British fights, and then when we predict them, we just predict them to be a draw, and then we all get good points.
Yeah, back to back.
Sounds like a plan. And then moving on up, we've got that. Then puts us onto the main event, doesn't it? Vidal Riley. Well, we've sort of covered. Comfortable performance from Vidal. Job done. Moved round really well. His ring IQ is just like exceptional. He looks so comfortable
just a level above, wasn't he?
Yeah, he just looks like he can some people will say that, oh, well, he wasn't able to get him out of there. Oh, he wasn't able to do this, that, and the other. But equally, he didn't really look like he left second gear. He kind of just comfortably, and a better opponent would ask more of you. And this is a Lawal that Chamberlain, the current British champion, made probably harder work of than Vidal did there. So
he fractured his rib in the first round as well, mightn't he?
Who did?
Vidal.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's why maybe he wasn't coming
That's
forward.
That's probably why he was a bit standoffish, but yeah, Lawal fractured his rib in the first round.
Well, So Vidal just looked comfortable in there, did what he had to do, and got the victory.
And that sets him up now for another unbelievable British
They're
fight.
doing him and Isaac Chamberlain, but Isaac Chamberlain
just
should be
make
fighting
a triple
Shev
threat
Clarke.
match.
Yeah, and I think Shev Clarke is the mandatory challenger for the British.
Yeah, and Ben Shalom has said that Isaac Chamberlain's going to vacate the British belt
That
to
doesn't
fight Vidal
makes the
Riley
fight-
instead of fighting Shev Clarke.
Bizarre that, I suppose. But then I suppose if
It just makes him look like he's running from him.
it does look a bit weird.
back-to-back boxer
And I
fighters
do.
running.
I
as
think
well,
I
you know.
fancy Vidal Riley against Chamberlain, and then you're looking for Riley versus Shev
That
Clarke
would be
for the British belt, which would be
such a good fight.
such a good scrap.
Maybe it makes it bigger then. If they
Maybe,
vacate
yeah,
it.
maybe.
That would be a proper 50-50.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be an unbelievable fight. And talking of 50-50s, talking of unbelievable fights, Fabio Wardley, Frazer Clarke.
What a fight.
I don't think it's a over-exaggeration to say that is the best single fight in recent years. The last 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
That's
I can't
the best
think of,
British title heavyweight fight I've watched in my entire life.
I can't think of it was just
So good.
Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua apparently comes close to it, but I think no way.
I just think the way it ebbed and flowed, Frazer Clarke looked really good early on, looked really sharp, and that Olympic sort of pedigree looked like it was going to prove the difference. But then Fabio Wardley just never said no, kept fighting, kept throwing. That cut was horrendous by the end of the fight.
He had it before it though. His
but-
nose was all cut before the fight.
I was
so-
just glad it didn't get stopped for that, because it would have been such a shame for it to end that way.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And both men by round 8 looked like they had nothing left in the tank, and they just the last
I would
4
say
rounds,
earlier than that.
they were just
round 5. They were
they were just fighting on like
Pride.
empty and on pride, and giving it absolutely everything. It was amazing. Clarke obviously got the points deduction in the 7th
with no warning. Now people are saying that the referee didn't give him any warning, but
I
when he
thought the ref
gave the
did.
point,
I think the ref gave him one warning, and there was a couple low blows.
Clarke was fuming over it, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think
the referee went free though.
yeah,
I didn't see 3 warnings.
No, I think Wardley did well.
He said he warned the corner, though, didn't he?
Wardley did well to make something of that eventual one. You could tell by how quickly he was fine that it didn't really hurt him.
Yeah,
But he did well to he pointed out the ref and made something of it. And then obviously dropped Clarke in the 5th as well, which was I think the big moment.
I thought that was when it was over, to be
I
honest.
think if there was an extra 30 seconds, then maybe
Yeah.
he would have finished him. The
yeah.
bell saved him, really.
It's absolutely, but that's the game. And
How did you to have her on the
7-5
scorecard?
to Clarke, but 2 points deduction.
I
draw.
think I had
So you had it as a draw.
Clarke up 1.
The one judge scorecard though, 115, 112. I don't know how he's got that. That's
No.
8. That's 8-4.
I think
There's no way that's.
I think the
right.
problem with Wardley, or why that particular ref gave it the way he did, was that Wardley was impressive in sort of bunches and in
Wardley
bursts,
probably landed the bigger shots. So.
whereas Clarke looked really comfortable and had sort of a bit more sustained dominance over some of the rounds. So I guess the ref.
He had more experience, though, didn't he, Clarke? He was showing it, weren't he? Showing
Well,
his,
he's got more
pedigree.
boxing experience, but
Yeah.
everyone was saying Fabio Wardley's had 17 pro fights and Clarke's only had 8. So, it really was that matchup of the Olympic pedigree versus the white collar boxer, and it was just, unbelievable fight.
Did they do it again?
Oh,
Got to.
100%.
But will it be as good as this one?
It doesn't matter.
But
It doesn't matter because I think
you need a winner from it now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what happens now if Fabio Wardley comes out and says, "Oh no, I'm done with this level. I'm moving up to the next big thing."
Yeah,
I don't think he will. Or
I don't
he'd
think
be
he
happy
will.
To get, I think he'd be confident enough to get back in there and get the job done next time. The both of them will, so they'll both want to put it right.
Yeah, it was close enough that both of them will think, oh well, if I improve this, and this, then I'll beat him, and then obviously the other person will improve their stuff, and it will be another great fight, hopefully.
But if not, do you reckon Fabio Wardley steps up? I don't know, European fight?
He's already a European title holder.
Is he?
Yeah, it was British, Commonwealth, and European.
European
that
as
one
well.
was for. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was only the British.
So
they've got to run that back.
Yeah, I think they run it back, and then realistically, whoever wins it gets to the next world title or that world level.
I want to see it again. I'm just saying, what happens if it doesn't? Where did each man go then? Does Frazer Clarke then fight? Who could he fight then for the vacant British heavyweight coming up?
I don't know. I just think.
Solomon Dakers.
I just
That's a good
Solomon Dakers or Moses Atoma's probably the two. But realistically, it doesn't matter. I think if whoever loses this fight, because I think what we're seeing is two world level fighters fighting at British level, and they will both go on to become world level fighters.
100%.
So as much as one will lose and they go, oh, he lost at British level, it's not the same. Yeah, it's like when we spoke to Gavin, he lost to Lee Selby and James Tennyson, two world level fighters.
Joe Cordina.
Joe Cordina, he lost at British level.
Yeah.
And then they went on to become world level fighters, and you go, well, he's not a British level fighter necessarily. And then we'll jump back round to that on some of the audio clips. But
who won on the predictions in the
Sam.
end?
That was me.
How many points to go?
17, I think.
You had 17.
14.
And I had 12.
Yeah.
Can we just say though, Ben was when was
that
it?
Marco thing?
After when was it after the Vidal Riley fight? You went, boys, get my belt ready for me.
Yeah,
That's your reward, lads.
He was coming.
Look
come
at
on.
that.
Since I finished.
He's given us a Malteser's bunny, because we're going to get a...
I was going to get you a Kinder Egg, just so you'd have the toy to keep it quiet for the hour, but I couldn't find one.
Wow.
No, I appreciate that.
Making out that I'm the small one in the room.
We're going to get a belt eventually for the
you, Ben.
that we bring to the studio and hand over.
We'll just keep this bunny as the belt, and then over the years that we do it.
Well, no, whoever wins, I suppose whoever wins next week, then or whoever loses next week has to buy the two.
I think it can be a draw
treat, depending on who it is.
next week.
We're going to be bankrupting Ben if it goes on like last week. But yeah, like I was saying, so Tim Zhu, Sebastian Fundora, and Rolly Romero, Isaac Cruz, two brilliant fights, two brilliant upsets as well. We'll start with Rolly Romero, Isaac Cruz.
Upsets or?
I think so. Just like maybe not. You're not talking about a minnow
like
beating
we all predicted it to go the other way, but
yeah, I don't think it was not
Isaac Cruz is so good.
Yeah, he looked really good against Romero, and Romero looked.
Battered him.
Did you see Romero in the like interview afterwards?
He was
the
out of it.
interviewer asked him a question and he just didn't answer for like 5 seconds, and then he just said, "Oh, I want to thank the crowd." Like he was gone. Like proper gone. That's 2 losses now for Rolly Romero, obviously against Tank and then Cruz, who are 2 top fighters.
Yeah, there's no shame in losing to them, is there?
Nah, not at all. And Cruz has got himself the WBA World Super Light belt now, and he can get himself some really great fights from that.
I don't think many people want to get in with him.
No, I think probably
that's such a good division on it.
Realistically, he's going to be jumping in with either Teofimo Lopez or the winner of Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. Those are the guys with the belts.
Teofimo probably, wouldn't it?
I think that would be some fight.
Thing,
that would be a brilliant fight. That's 2 great fighters, 2 really exciting
Teofimo
fighters.
Lopez was asking for it afterwards.
Teofimo Lopez asks for anyone after any fight, don't he?
Maybe a little bit. But the game's the game. And then, like we said as well, Tim Zhu lost to Fundora, and that was another one where there was a huge cut on top of his head that's now been stitched up. But the height difference on that one was
that's like
mental.
you and Ben boxing.
No
offense, but it is.
It's height-wise.
Probably.
I think it might even be more than like a bigger gap.
I can't believe how sharp an elbow is, mine.
Yeah. Fundora's huge, really tall.
He should be getting a rematch on that, shouldn't he?
No. No rematch
No.
clause. Apparently there was a verbal agreement to a rematch, but this is boxing, so that ain't gonna happen.
I would like Fundora to give him the rematch because I think
he deserves one realistically.
I think Tim Tszyu's given him the opportunity to fight for those belts when he albeit he's a very good fighter. I don't think he's necessarily done anything to earn
but
2 world titles.
You say that Tim
other
Tszyu
than
gave
these.
him the opportunity. Fundora saved that show to come in on 12
come in on
days
short
notice.
notice and win the world title. You've got to
Unified the division.
It's brilliant, but
him
I
and
think
his sister both got a world title now, haven't
they're the first brother sister combo, aren't
they? So
they?
you're going to bring that up.
Was that your note, Harry?
That was his fact.
I'm gonna have to darken my screen on my notes. Yeah.
You need to get one of those things you can put on that like you can't see it. You can only see it straight on. You can't see it from angles.
Yeah, but look at this though. Last year, 8th of April, Sebastian Fundora loses his WBC interim world title to Brian Mendoza. 30th of March 2024, Sebastian Fundora wins the WBC, WBO World Super Welterweight titles. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable story.
absolutely.
But that cut,
I don't even know how we make super welterweight. He's massive.
Yeah, he's so
just don't eat. You don't eat for 2 weeks probably before
like
the
6'5",
fight.
6'6", isn't he? He's really tall. And while we're talking about, I love a nickname, as you know. Do you know what Fundora's nickname is?
Something to do with fire?
The Towering Inferno.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
That's a
That's
decent
pretty
nickname.
cool. That's a pretty good. And you got right, and he's ranked number 1 American super welterweight now. He's ranked number 2. This is on BoxRec in the world behind Israel Madrimov. He's done really well for himself. You've got to say you can't doubt him at all in terms of what he's managed to do.
As soon as you hold them belts, you got the power then, haven't you?
Yeah, and there's talks of Errol Spence Jr. or Terence Crawford, and obviously they're bouncing around that weight weight range.
It's time for him to make a lot of money. And like his manager said, we're going to maybe take the Spence fight and then take the Crawford fight because then we can maximise our profits.
Get the money.
That's the
You
aim,
can't
yeah.
blame him.
But that cut, mind. I'm quite surprised the fight went the full distance because he was swallowing blood and the amount of blood that was coming out.
I think that the main thing was where the cut was. If you've got that kind of cut on your face, on your forehead, around the eyes, it probably gets called off.
Still dripping,
But because it's on top of
eyes.
his head, I think it's not. Yes, the whole blood in your face thing ain't ideal.
Still a close fight, man. He didn't.
Yeah, it was a good
win
fight.
It by what was the points on? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but if you give me just a moment, I will double
He's
check.
gonna quickly go through his brain now and check.
I'm just thinking.
What about his trunks as well, Fundora, with all the fire on it? Proper retro, wasn't it?
Yeah. So one ref had it 112, 116
So,
to Tim Tszyu. One had it 115, 113. One had it 112, 116 to Fundora. One had it 115, 113 to Fundora, and one had it 116, 112. So he won on 2.
Oh, it was 2-1.
I've butchered that. Basically, he won 2 judges' cards pretty comfortably and lost 1 by 4 rounds, which seems a bit
that's a bit harsh.
unpredictable.
Probably the judge felt sorry for Tim Tszyu with the cut, and he was probably thinking, "What a warrior for going 12 rounds."
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I don't see them doing the rematch line. I don't know about you, but
I know what you mean.
He probably won.
if the shoe was on the other foot, let's be honest, will Tim
no,
Tszyu give him the opportunity?
No, absolutely not.
That's why it's just Fundora.
I'm just thinking. Imagine getting in the ring with a 6'6" southpaw at super welter. Like that is a long day.
This weekend has told me one thing about boxing, and it's I don't want to get in the ring.
Yeah,
From
fair.
watching that fight on Sunday night, I'm watching that one. You don't play boxing.
Nah, absolutely not.
No, thank you.
And that puts us on to maybe some of our audio clips. So the first one, like I mentioned earlier, was Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke. It's Clarke and then Wardley talking after the fight, about rematches, things like that, and just saying what they had to say about it all.
I'd love a rematch. I don't like draws. I don't like draws, mate. I don't think draws are good for boxing. I think there was enough there for the people that were judging the fight to make a decision. Personally, I don't like draws. I need a rematch.
I'm not too happy with the performance, but I'm happy that I put on a performance like that in terms of entertainment for the fans and gave the belt the respect it deserves. All credit to Frazer as well.
So there's a lot of mutual respect between the two of them after that fight, but I think it was quite interesting what Clarke said about he doesn't like draws. He thinks there was enough to give the fight, one way or another. ultimately he wants a rematch because he thinks he can beat him, and he thinks that it shouldn't have finished as a draw, which
But if he didn't get the knockdown, Clarke would have won.
the point off.
But the point off, I scored it 9-9 anyway, so...
Yeah, and also
really
you've
matter.
got...
They need to figure out a way to, like, if a fight ends in a draw, figure out a winner. I
Overtime?
reckon they should wheel in, not like them punch machines.
Yeah.
Just wheel them in. Both of them get one shot. Whoever gets the highest score wins.
Yeah, realistically though, you're just going to get Francis Ngannou against anyone. High guard, no punch, high guard, try and just stay in there and then get the draw.
No, it was a good fight. What did you score it, Ben? You obviously probably had Clarke winning.
I had Clarke winning by... I think I had Clarke winning by a point going into the last round.
Same.
So I think I had it as a draw.
Okay.
It's
a fair result, ain't it? I'm not mad about it being a draw.
I did say on Twitter before they announced it, I thought it was a draw.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a draw, but I think if one person was to win it, it would have been Frazer Clarke. If you told me to give it one way or another, I probably would have edged slightly towards Frazer Clarke.
I can agree with that.
Just because I think he dominated a little bit more of the fight, but that doesn't matter.
He started strong and then he came into it in the middle half of it and then just went off it.
But yeah, what a brilliant fight.
Great advert for boxing.
Run it back. That's all I have to say. Run it back.
Run it back.
Run it back. It's got to
I
be
said
done.
it'd go the distance, though.
You fair play. No, you said Frazer Clarke on points, didn't you?
I said Frazer Clarke knockout. I said knockout. I said there's no way this fight goes the distance.
So
Gave it the kiss of death.
Realistically, I won the predictions.
I think no. I think not. I think
back.
maths don't lie. And like I said, the next one, Vidal Riley and Isaac Chamberlain, a little bit of afters in the crowd after the ring. And this is just some of the things they had to say.
Just running. If you think you can box like that against me, you got another thing coming. I'm not gonna lie, because this fight, listen, it's nothing.
Listen, you beat that same guy and started shedding tears. You see any tears on my face?
Listen, because you didn't perform. What kind of performance is that? That performance was dead. Yeah, so?
Listen, this standard to me. This is
Bro,
we expected this.
You punches. You can run it whenever. Don't do that. Because you've been calling me out since October.
You didn't say that before.
Since October, you've been calling me out. But
So now it's any time.
I'm here, bro.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Oh yeah,
British boxing is back.
Yeah, when you get two people confident on the mic, I mean, it's no Daniel Dubois. I'll make you my daddy, but
You
it's
really butchered it like he did. as well.
well, I haven't been practicing it in the mirror like he was. Yeah, like it was good. And
They just
Isaac
cut away at
Chamberlain-
the wrong time.
Isaac Chamberlain said, "Run it back." Oh, so run it up, get it done. Would you want to see that one as soon as? Is that the next fight
I
tonight?
don't think
the fight
Vital-
they're planning by the looks of it.
Vidal Riley didn't have any damage, so they could probably make that on the Chris Bellum-Smith React Poor undercard.
Yeah, I think what we've seen from Boxer is a very, very set out plan, and things are very sort of not formulaic, but they're following a plan. And we saw it. We saw Billum Smith and Riakpo face off in the ring, and obviously we're now going to see them, or outside the ring, we're now going to see them fight. So I think Boxer know what they're doing. They put it on the show. It's almost certainly
They're
going to
trying
happen.
to keep Chev Clarke out of the mix, and it's just not going to happen.
Nah,
he's gonna turn
to
up
just put on the
eventually,
side.
and one of them are gonna have to get in there with him.
Yeah, you can't avoid him forever. And I mean, let's move on to it. We'll jump back to one of the audio clips after it. But another call out, another face off in the ring. It was Adam Azim, Eubank facing off in the ring. That's the fight
Another mad one.
that Boxer are making instead of the Dalton Smith fight, it seems, even though that one's not been signed yet.
It's a bit like Liam Smith, Eubank Jr. We didn't want it, but it's probably a fight that we, after watching it, would be like,
It'd be a good fight. But
happy days.
I'm surprised you still haven't seen Eddie Earn come out yet and start kicking off over it.
Yeah.
I don't think Eddie Earn's going to be that bothered, though, because Dalton Smith would have been stepping down, and that's no disrespect at all to Adam
but
Azim.
I think he just sees it as a way of getting one over Boxer. Isn't it?
I think what Eddie knew was that Dalton Smith, Adam Azim was not a reasonable matchup in terms of, that's not the level Adam Azim's at just yet. He's certainly not proved up to this point he's quite at that level yet. So Eddie knew what he was doing in saying, "Oh, you're ducking us," because he knew they didn't want that fight, and either they're going to concede for their pride and end up losing the fight possibly, or they're going to do what they've done, which is build another fight, and then Eddie looks good because of it, and Dalton Smith looks good coming from it. But I think that's a good fight. I think it's a good matchup.
Yeah, still not an easy fight, this one.
No,
Box office?
No.
not yet.
Well, Chris Eubank said stuff about my one boy was on box office and now Harlem's coming through.
Yeah,
If they put that on box office, box office, mind. That wrecks it.
We're watching it on Weatherspoons if they put it on box office.
Yeah, I think that's one of the amazing things.
Sam for the link.
And do you know what? Another thing, fair play to Boxer, or what I thought they did really, really well, was finishing the fights fairly early. So many people were talking about this event. It was everywhere on Twitter, and it's because it was on TV, on main Sky, no pay-per-view. Everyone watched it after the City Arsenal game. It was a huge event. It just had so many eyes on it
didn't
because
have it on too late.
They didn't go on till like 2 a.m. People turn off. No one, not nobody, but I don't know the stats, but I reckon half as many people would watch.
Casual boxing fans are not going to stay up till gone 12 to watch a main event for
No,
a British title fight.
And they'd have missed what very well could go down as one of the best fights of the year, or one of the best fights the last couple of years. That's my favourite
so far this year, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Country mile.
I'm not going to say 100% because obviously,
it's in the top 5.
When it gets to the end of the year, I don't want it to be just like everyone knows what we're going to say for the end of year when we go the best fight of the year.
It'll be 100% in my top 10. That's all I can say.
I think that's probably safe. I think that's probably a safe bet.
But where in it, I don't know.
Who knows? And another fight that looks like it might hopefully be made, and a call out that was done in just brilliant fashion. Joseph Parker, Dillian Whyte. Joseph Parker, a round of applause for that. That was unbelievable.
Take that.
Such good content.
I want you back.
He's becoming my favourite fighter, I think.
He's just so likeable, and he's doing it in the ring as well at the moment. You can't. I mean, it maybe puts end to people calling for an AJ Parker fight, which I don't necessarily hate.
Maybe that indicates that AJ's fighting Hrgovic next.
Yeah, maybe but
with that call out.
Parker, Dillian Whyte, it's a good fight for Parker to stay active, sort of keep himself busy while Usyk and AJ and Fury are keeping themselves busy, and then he can ideally come in and start challenging once that's a bit more settled. But it's a great fight, a great call out. I mean, what more can you want? What more could you ask for?
Yeah, if people haven't seen it, they should go and watch it.
Yeah, just search up Joseph Parker, Dillian Whyte. He not to give it all away, but he lip syncs Take That and
I Want You Back.
It's so good. It's so good.
Best call out of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And another just quick audio clip. This was Dan Aziz, who was at the fight, talking about maybe some of the fights he wants, and one fight in particular that might be an interesting matchup.
I want to be in the mix again, man. Do you know what I mean? I lost my last fight, and I want to prove that I'm still amongst that level of fighters. So stick me in there with another maybe top 5 in the country or top 20 in the world. I'm good to go. Yeah, Lyndon. A few names have been mentioned to me, but yeah, that would be a wicked fight. I rate Lyndon. I was out in Canada with him.
So Dan Aziz there, the one he sort of picked out was Lyndon Arthur. They did also throw Ben Whittaker at him, but I don't know if that's the fight to be made anytime too soon.
He was giving Ben Whittaker some stick on the commentary.
He was apparently, yeah. A lot of people were. By all accounts, they were pretty quick to.
That's their job, though, ain't it? Let's be honest.
But also, if you're Ben Whittaker and you're going to go down, calling people out for criticising you, then as soon as you don't quite do anything so special as you normally do, then they're going to be straight to jump back on you, aren't they?
At least they're talking about him.
That's what he wants, isn't it? That's what he wants. He doesn't care about being, liked necessarily. Or he doesn't care about being, nice and kind and talking, respect to his opponents. He wants people to tune in, and that's what's happening.
To Dan Aziz, that fight with Lyndon Arthur.
Be a good scrap.
That's a good scrap.
Be a good scrap, because Lyndon Arthur's last fight was Dimitri Bivol, which, I mean, what can you really say? You're not likely.
He just
that's
got
not a
bullied
fight
for 12 rounds, didn't he?
Yeah, but he did well to stay in there, and I think
Bivol did not look like he wanted to get him out of there, did he?
Not particularly. He never really does, though, does he? I just think Lyndon Arthur versus Dan Aziz, another British fight, another possibility for a classic. I don't think Lyndon Arthur's someone who's going to hit the deck particularly easily. Same you can say for Aziz. I think they're at a reasonable level. Probably won't live up to the Boatsy Aziz fight, but it's certainly a good matchup, I think.
It's a good fight, because I think, didn't Lyndon Arthur beat Anthony Yard?
Yeah, no, lost to Anthony Yard. He got knocked out by Anthony Yard. Yeah.
Yard beat him, then he shot Bivol.
Yeah, you're right. He beat Anthony Yard and then lost to him in the rematch. So he beat Anthony Yard.
No, there was no rematch. Back. Oh no,
there was. Yeah, there was a year later. They ran it back.
Yeah, he got battered then
in the copper box, and he got the knockout.
See, I do know my boxing. Thank you very much. I do watch it.
Yeah, so I just think that'd be a brilliant fight, to be honest. I think.
Yeah, well, there's two good fights coming out of Britain. Harlem Eubank, Adam Azim, and Dan Aziz, Lyndon Arthur.
Yeah, I also there's a lot of stuff going around with, the Times article and things like that, but I just want to say from a boxing point of view, what Boxer are doing at the moment, I'm a big fan of. They're doing some really good cards, some really great fights.
Good start to the year.
And you look at the
next couple of months.
Look at the Lauren Price McCaskill card. They've added a load of great Welsh fighters: Rhys Edwards, Moses Jolly, Kieran Jones. The last two of those we've got interviews with up on the channel. Brilliant fighters. They were probably two of the standout fighters from that night, other than I think Joe Morgan was the other one we said. But those two fighters are serious fighters.
That's going to be a big night for Welsh boxing now.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's more to be announced as well.
The only shame is they haven't got the Welsh title fight yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look. But I can't remember who it was that's on the. There's one more guy on the card that I haven't mentioned, which I'm just going to double check real quick. No, Rhys Edwards I've mentioned, and there's one more. And I think he's 4-0, 5-0, something like that. So he looks like he might be at the level where he'd be looking at a Welsh title fight. He's a Swansea boy, I think. Apologies to him.
Shepherd, is it?
Yeah, that'd be one. Kane Shepherd. Kane Shepherd. He looks like a decent fighter. Like I said, 4-0, super featherweight. So that would be, I don't know who's the super featherweight Welsh title holder, but yeah, he's looking to fight. And he's a Cardiff boy. Sorry, I've just.
Wow, you don't want to get that wrong.
Is it Conor McIntosh is the Welsh title holder?
Oh.
Is it not?
Are we making a fight?
He
here?
is, yeah. He beat Nathan Howells super feather, so he beat Nathan Howells for it. So, Conor McIntosh, he said he wanted to be on the Boxer card when I interviewed him. He also told me to stop shit staring, but that's another point.
You are bad at that, mine.
It's got to be done. It's interesting.
There's too many vacant belts. We need to fill them all.
We do.
That heavyweight one we need to fill. Yeah. And Dorian Darch, come on, mate, get your license.
The other fighter,
come on, British Boxing Board of Control.
The other fighter that I forgot about to mention was Mark Jeffers is on the card as well. Well, and he beat obviously Zach Chelly for the English a little while back. So who he's going to be fighting will be interesting. Is it Zach Parker or is it a not domestic clash? It'll be interesting. There's some
Jerome Warburton.
Is Jerome Warburton super middle? I always forget, or is he middleweight?
He's middleweight.
So it could be done, but unlikely. I think Jerome Warburton's got his eyes set on Nathan Heaney's belt, or Brad Paul's, depending on how that
what a call like that was
goes.
As well, wasn't it? Just sat on your sofa having a pizza and saying, "Is this really what British boxing's about?"
that's fair enough.
What a bloke.
But yeah, that's looking like a great card. So shout out Boxer. But to move on from shouting out Boxer and from kissing their ass too much because they let us go to their press conference. Next weekend's fights, Matchroom card out in Vegas. There's some really great fights. 3 of which we're going to be predicting on the Boxing News app as we've been doing recently. The ones that aren't on there, Mark Castro versus Abraham Montoya for the WBC Continental America's Super Feather.
Good fight. Looks
like a really good fight. And then obviously another one which I'm surprised wasn't on the Boxing News app. So Boxing News, if you're listening, sort it out. Sky Nicholson, Sarah Mahfoud.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't put that on it.
WBC World Featherweight clash.
That's a world title fight. And they can't make...
Yeah, absolutely. She's been everywhere. I think she's...
They do tend to add them late sometimes, so maybe it will.
Yeah, maybe. The only reason I knew this card was happening, or I remembered this card was happening, was because everywhere on social media currently is Sky Nicholson being promoted for it, and that's not. I don't mean that in a bad way. I think she's a brilliant fighter, so I'm looking forward to it. But then our 3 predictions. I think we can. I mean, let's just say we think Sky Nicholson's going to win that one, do we? We've all pretty much agreed on that.
If it gets added, I'm putting Sky Nicholson decision.
Yeah. Same. And then obviously
let's get Harry's as well.
As we said with say it on record. You think Sky Nicholson's going to win?
Yes, I think Sky Nicholson's going to win.
And how do you think she's going to win?
Well, she's only got 1 KO, so I reckon points.
Yeah, so we've all gone Sky Nicholson points. That one doesn't actually matter. Even if it doesn't get added, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so the other thing we can say is we spoke to Gavin, like I said, earlier in the week, that episode is up, and he mentioned Elizabeth Ashoba, who's also a a super featherweight fighter and an unbelievable fighter. He said he reckons she'll be a world title holder before next year, and he also said he thinks she'd knock out Sky Nicholson. So maybe one to look out for.
Do you reckon she'd have our fight next? Because she got a 3-fight deal in Denmark, hasn't she?
Yeah, but I think if bigger things come,
Oh yeah,
you'll be fine. I think she's the WBC silver, like we said. I mean, we've held that belt, and there's no reason why she shouldn't get that fight, in the near future.
Massive.
I think it's like Gavin said, she's Nigerian, she's not British, she's not American, so she hasn't had the same exposure that a lot of these fighters get. And I just think it's only a matter of time before Matchroom or Queensbury
They're going to have to take notice at some point.
Someone's got to take notice, because if you don't, then someone else is going to, and she's a serious fighter. But that's a slight detour. The fights this weekend, to start off with, while I load up the app, if you can take over in explaining what the first fight is.
July. Go on, Ben.
Galal Yafai and Agustin Mauro Gauto.
Is he... Am I right in saying he's...
Argentinian?
I am right in saying it's not him. The guy fighting on the main event...
Gustavo Daniel Lemos is
the guy
last opponent of Lee Selby.
Lee Selby's last opponent out in Argentina, which is quite cool. But anyway, Galal Yafai versus an Argentinian.
21-1.
Yeah, and I mean, Galal Yafai is one of those ones, you look at his record and you might think this is an early fight, but he won the flyweight gold.
He's an Olympian, ain't he? So he's got
gold medalist.
He won
the
2020 Olympics, and then in his first pro fight, beat someone who was 9-4-1 for the WBC International, which he's held on. He's held on to throughout. Beat the likes of Rocco Santamoro. So a really, really good fight. One of the really exciting southpaws coming out of Britain, and another brilliant flyweight coming out of Britain as well. What's our predictions for this one?
July Yafai does it. Oh, does he stop him?
Oh,
I don't think he stops an Argentinian, so I'm going to say points.
You're going to go on points?
Yeah.
I've got the same.
I've gone for a Yafai knockout.
Oh.
I've gone for a Yafai, and
I can see it.
I'm in an R in because, like exactly what you said, Argentinians, just as a sort of blanket thing, I don't generally predict to get knocked out, because they don't tend to get knocked out. But I think this guy's been knocked out a number of occasions. He lost out in Dubai, got knocked out in the second round. Other than that, he's won all his other fights.
Lost the ones.
So I'm going to say he doesn't get knocked out by Jalal Yafai. I think it's going to be a dominant performance. I don't think it'll be a flash knockout. I think it'll be like when it's just kind of like the guy just gets stopped.
Referee saves him.
Yeah.
Kind of fight.
Diego Pacheco versus...
Can I just say, he is my favourite American boxer, this Pacheco. I don't know if you boys have seen the video, but...
Unbelievable.
David Benavidez is taking him under his... and wow. What a fighter.
Really great fighter. Really exciting fighter. I'm guessing...
He's been over in the UK already,
Yeah, who was it? Because he
fought Jack Cullen.
Jack Cullen, that was it. Because he fought Cosares last time out, but...
Do you reckon you could get him and Zach Parker in the UK?
You could do. You definitely could do.
But it's Matchroom and...
A Pride Park. Is that what it's called these days?
Where's
Derby's
this?
ground?
Yeah, Pride Park, is it? Yeah, I think so. I don't tend to notice they're in League One nowadays. It's just a subtle dig.
Yorkshire.
Yeah. So yeah, he fought Jack Cullen. I've gone for the knockout. I think there's nothing else I can go for. He pretty much knocks everyone out.
I've got Pacheco.
This is quite boring, ain't it?
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Listen, since Ben started making these predictions a bit more serious, I think me and Sam have just realised that we have to make them more serious as well.
By copying my
to maybe put some more interesting, light-hearted stuff into this. I was just looking at the American rankings for super middle, and the 7th ranked super middle American goes by the name of Rowdy Legend Montgomery. What a name that is.
Say it again.
Rowdy Legend Montgomery.
Imagine having legend in your name.
His birth name is Brahamavigi Shania Montgomery Jr. What a man.
So you just changed it to Legend.
Rowdy Legend, yeah. Is the name he's gone by. What a man. Have you seen, this is a slight random detour, have you seen the sketch by Key and Peele where they do the American football college players? Okay, if you haven't watched it, watch it when we finish this. It's so... They go like... how they do like in American unis, they say their name and then they say like Virginia State, and they say where they're gone to. It's that, but they just do like 100 of them, and they're just like random names. It's so funny. And that sounds like one that they would have come up with. Anyway, that was my detour on that one. The main event: Richardson Hitchens versus Gustavo Daniel Lemos. I have a feeling we're going to all go for the same here as well. I'm going to go for a Hitchens decision.
Yeah,
because I don't want to.
I think saying that, you went. Did you go knockout?
I did. You fight knockout.
So that could be the difference maker for you.
So realistically, that's the only difference maker. What are you going for, Harry?
If you're going knockout,
I'm going Hitchens. I'm just having a look now.
This is a man that beat Lee Selby.
He beat Joe Zepeda mine last time out, who lost to Dalton Smith.
Yeah.
It's not for a world title, is it? This fight?
No, I don't believe so. But yeah, he did beat Jose Zepeda. Wait, which one? Oh, well, yeah, the American. Yeah, beat Jose Zepeda. He's a good fighter.
In the video, he said he's gonna try and knock him out, but I don't know.
I just don't think you're gonna put.
He hasn't
there.
boxed since December of. Oh no, he boxed December last year. Okay, I'll go. Oh, I don't care about these predictions anyway. Hitchens KO.
Okay,
so we have got.
So realistically,
we will get a winner.
We will get a winner no matter what.
It's a bit crap though, because you can predict the winner, but the method does you up.
Yeah, it's good. It's what makes it. And I think they've only got 10 points now for a draw rather than 20, which I don't know why that is, but it's interesting anyway. But yeah,
how many rounds are we going with? I've gone with 30.
I forgot to do that. I'm going to go. I think it's going to be much less than that on those 3 fights. If I've got Yafai knocking him out, Pacheco knocking him out, so 12 rounds on the decision. I'm going to go 6 on each plus 23. I'm going to go 23. I think.
I'll go 27.
You've gone 30.
Yeah.
So you think it's going to be what? 12, 8, and 10.
Very long night for you.
I've got a 12 rounder for Hitchens, 10 rounder for Yafai, that's 22, and 8 rounds for Pacheco.
Have you gone points?
No. Points for Hitchens and
stoppage.
Yafai stoppage for Pacheco.
Pacheco is special,
course, yeah.
man.
I think that's
you
guarantee.
can get that Edgar Berlanga fight after this, I reckon. If they want to move him quickly.
Without a doubt.
Right, I'm submitting my predictions.
I've submitted mine. I'm off.
Before you
I'm gone.
Go.
It's all been said.
I'm guessing they'll add Sky Nicholson or something.
Probably, but we've all gone the same on that anyway. So
they have to.
Yeah, I think that pretty much ramps it up for this week for another
Can we just
episode.
talk about that Gavin Gwynn episode that we just released yesterday? What an episode, and what a bloke.
What a man.
What a top bloke.
It's just really good.
What a top bloke he is.
A brilliant guy. Really, really fascinating episode. I'm not going to say any good things about ourselves in terms of our interviewing. It was a very easy conversation to have because the guy's just got brilliant stories, had a brilliant career. So if you're going to do anything, click off this video and go and watch that one, or go make yourself a cup of tea, because that'll be like 2 hours of content once you've listened to this. Make yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a Cobb sausage and curry sauce, and then sit down and watch that video. It's well worth a watch, well worth a listen. Other than that, all our other full episodes are on Spotify. All our fight previews, all our fight updates are on Twitter, YouTube for fight interviews, for shorts, for the main episodes. We've got some big events coming up soon towards the end of April and early May. And other than that, we will catch you all next week for another episode.